everyone here. I'm Yulia. I'll be your host for tonight. We have Anita with us, the guest speaker, but we'll have a proper introduction for Anita and also the whole initiative a little bit later. For now, let's just wait until more people join. If you feel like you want to share with us where you're joining from or just say hi in the chat, you're welcome to. We're just getting started for now and waiting for more people to go live with us. How are you feeling, Anita?
Excited because, as I mentioned, I usually interview someone. I am not interviewed by someone else. So this is a really nice feeling to see how others women are feeling when I'm invited them to my webinars like that.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good exercise to, we talked before the session when I said like putting yourself in the shoes of the person you're usually interviewing. So it could be cool. We'll just slowly get started with outlining the structure of this event and setting some expectations for it, and more people will be joining as we go forward. Hi, everyone. Thanks for giving us a shout out in the chat. As more people are joining, please do not be shy. Say hi in the chat. Tell us where you're joining from and stuff like this. So this is the big topic for today, being a strong woman in IT, and it's a reference. And we'll talk about it a bit later when Anita has a minute to present herself and talk more about the stuff that she's busy with. And we have entrepreneurship, personal branding, and female leadership as the subtopics for today's event. On the agenda, we have female leadership in the tech world. We have women's entrepreneurship. Then we have a good one, the battle, the never-ending question, soft skills versus hard skills for IT. Which is something I am personally very excited about to hear Anita's point of view on this. Then we have personal branding as a subsection, and at the end we'll have a full-on Q&A section, but also please guys do not hesitate to pop up with the questions and then to dive deeper into the topics we touch upon or deviate from them altogether. We're just really interested to keep this conversation lively and alive, and just to keep it very interactive. And now, meet the speaker section. We have the lovely Anita with us. So Anita, if you want to present yourself and tell us a bit more about what your background is, what your profile is, what you're doing right now, and what do you want to be when you grow up. Stuff like this. So just but as a brief introduction, of course, we'll get into that later on in the session.
First of all, thanks for having me, because this is an honor, and I am so happy that I can share some experience and thoughts regarding women in tech. So I am so happy that I can be here right now. So my main job is to promote IT companies, and this is my absolutely dream job. I always wanted to promote, to communicate products and services, but I never thought that it would be IT, because I always thought that, oh, this is so difficult and tough, but maybe about this later. Mm-hmm. So I run a PR agency, a CAM Creations Group, and one of our projects is a project named Strong Women in IT, which main goal is to promote women in tech. But this is not typical project that invites women to join IT. This is more for C-level directors, head for women at managerial position, to show them, to promote them, to help them grow together. And to be honest, I have PhD in social science, so being in IT was something absolutely new for me. I needed to learn from scratch everything. What is soft, what is hard, what is software, what is hardware, how does it work? So there were lots of challenges I faced when I started my dream job that I created. Mm-hmm. So I hope that I will be able to share with you some thoughts and I think events that changed my life. So that I'm so happy I can be here, because I truly believe in the power of events. and how they create our lives and future.
That is so cool. A quick fact about myself also to understand where I'm coming from. By education, I am a PR person. So originally my major was public relations, and then I also worked in public relations for 2 years after graduation, but I moved away further from it, and now I ended up as a content marketer in a B2B marketing agency, which I'll talk about later. But I feel like there's this strong connections between me and you, Anita, in a way that, it's not exactly a background that is very straightforward for the tech industry, but still you have your dream job. I have my dream job, or on the way to finding my dream job, or even better, creating my dream job, as you put it beautifully. So I'm very excited for this session. I think we'll have lots of fun and lots of insights. So very quickly about woMAN Digital for the people who are joining us for the first time. Why the name? Why the everything? What's the deal with? What's the concept? So this is an initiative by woMAN Digital. And woMAN Digital is a B2B tech marketing agency in Krakow. And what we aim to do with this project is to create this friendly space for women and girls start their career in IT, or if they are hesitant, if they lack the resources, the network, the community. We really want to build that and promote that and support women to dare and to build their careers in tech. So this is the main goal. And Anita also presented herself. So this is just the synopsis of Anita's introduction, and I am really impressed. I'll repeat once again. I'm really impressed with Anita's background and the kind of perspective that she brings into this conversation. So this is the question that we kind of tackled earlier on. What you do and what do you want to be when you grow up? I'm sorry about butchering the structure here a little bit, but it just felt natural to start with this introduction. So if you feel like you would like to add something more to it, Anita, then please go ahead. But if you don't, we'll just move to the next question because you've already answered this one.
Maybe I will add 2 sentences connected with my past. I am from Kielce. This is a really medium-sized town in Poland, and I lived at the suburbs of the city. To travel from my school to home, I often had there was a bus because I was young, and sometimes at the time I didn't have my driving license, and sometimes you have to often wait long for the bus to come. And I was so impatient, so I decided sometimes to just walk. And when I was walking without friends, because they prefer to stay and wait for this bus, I was dreaming. I was dreaming about creating different campaigns, from vacuum cleaner to desks, simply. And I started to create, I think, in my head, how would I present them? I was mainly had TV ads, radio ads, and newspaper ads in my head, because at that time there was no internet. Yeah. But I always was thinking, how should I present this? How would I communicate the users, how to use it? And that's how I started to create different slogans, advertising slogans, and that's in the future helped me to won a lot of really nice awards connected with communication. Which let me spend some weekends in Spa in Kazimierz Dolny for free, just for being creative. So when I was younger, I dreamed about how to promote others, how to create, just because I was walking and thinking about how I am going back home and look at these different ads. So my dream and think what you've been dreaming when we were younger. And I truly believe that when we were younger, we could proceed and think what we should do in future. I know that I'm started from very big thing at the moment, but in the long run, you will see that you can feel inside what is important for you from the beginning.
Yeah, or something I've been thinking about lately is when your background is not matching the tech industry from the first sight, right? At the first sight, but then you start looking for these seeds that were planted a long time ago, maybe by your parents, maybe by the people like around you, maybe your friends, and you start looking at it and seeing what dreams and aspirations you had as a kid, and what kind of dreams grew up from that, and how you can connect that to your skills and to your resources at the moment. I feel like your example with waiting for the bus and looking at the ads and just building all of these campaigns in your head, it's beautiful how you basically constructed the notion of PR before you even knew what PR was. Right? Yeah. Nobody taught public relations at school, but you just found your way to it in your own personal way. And we have a common,
as they say, there is no accidents. Yeah, so that's the point.
That's beautiful. We have a comment here. I'd love to hear more about this create your dream job business, preferably in a step-by-step workflow format. I feel like that sounds really appealing, this creating your dream job. And your story, your background, Anka, it really sums it up perfectly, how as a kid you see things and you get inspired by things and you just want to, and you have this dream, but you do not necessarily know where you end up at. So do you have more tips on creating your dream job thing?
I truly believe that things we were doing when we were kids, what we were playing in, this is something we should do in the future. Of course, upgrade it to the present moment. But I truly believe that as a kid, we perfectly know what we should do. Just think about what you've been doing, what makes you fun when you were younger, when no one limits you, when there was no you should do this or that. There was just you, and you can do it whenever you wanted to. So I was playing in creating a company, organizing events, and communicating. So this is something that I think we should start from inside. Yeah. So what we've been doing, what was something that we truly loved. And so that's the beginning. But later, this is really tough, because sometimes they say that you have to fight for your dreams. And I believe that's true, that there is nothing easy in our life. But on the other hand, if some things move smoothly, like you are in the right direction, there is something in the universe to help you with it. Of course, there are some struggles, and you have to grow. So you need to have troubles, of course. But if you are in the right direction, you meet the right people. You suddenly read some an article in newspaper, and suddenly all the dots are linked. And that's a bit magic. Today we should talk more about entrepreneurship. But I think that there is also some feeling inside and luck.
And when you wish something into being, when you manifest it, that the popular word for it is to manifest something. Things start arranging themselves in a way that just feels natural, and you just meet people who are there in. Since Anita, you are nothing short of an expert on the subject, how are things now, and what does the future look like? For reference, the first event of this woMAN Digital series with the ladies from Dare IT was called How Dare We? Why the Tech Industry is a Place for Women. And so we talked about how the tech industry lacks the female, participation and the insights. But what about female leadership? What about people at the top? Please share your thoughts on this, Anita.
I believe just taking into account my experience connected with so strong women in IT. In this report, you will find technology is something that is perfect for them as a leader, because this is a industry that really promotes soft skills. We will talk about it later, but they see that there is a strong correlation between being a successful leader in IT and having an empathy, intuition, trying to put yourself in other shoes. So female leadership, I think that this is still growing. This is something at the moment still new, because there are lots of initiatives for women just to invite them to this industry, just to become a tester or a junior programmer. I think that being a leader for women is still tough, but it's this subject is, I think, promising and changing in the future. What I think that there is something really good is that there is lots of initiative that allows us to meet together, talk, learn from each other, because I believe that we need strong role models. When we have role models, we can relate. Look at our lives. When we grow up, we behave like our parents. We mimic them. When we are older, we look at our peers, teachers, friends. We try to find and mimic behavior that we like. And when we are older, after university, we also have to find some role models that we can rely. We can learn from them what we should do, how we should think, and think at the moment, do I agree with them or not? So I believe that the more we talk about leaders, female leaders in IT, the more we present them, it's the better, because we can simply learn from each other. And in different countries, there are different like spaces for sharing that. And like in Poland, we still need to create a lot of space to discuss it. But I think that future is bright, but not easy. And that's important point here, that there's nothing easy when it comes to being a leader, because you have to remember about social roles that we still are in. We have to remember that there are lots of things that we should show we can, and lots of superstitious and gossips around women in business. And unfortunately, we still have to also show that we are trustful, ready to lead companies, ready to lead teams. But this is, of course, I think much better than it was 15 years ago.
Yeah, and I just love how woMAN Digital, this whole project echoes back to this larger goal of building these communities of women in tech in Poland and in other countries too. And I love that we can contribute to that. And we're only starting, but we have big ambitions, and I'm really, really happy to be a part of this initiative and just to build this network, because maybe that's something you can relate to. Anita, I'm so sorry. Anka, that's me thinking about my colleague who helped me set things up. Hi, Anka, you're amazing. And so just something for a PR person, having the network is probably the biggest resource you can have, right? It's just the network, you build it over the years, and then it comes into shape. And then when you are also an integral part of this network, and you can reach out to people, and you know exactly where to seek advice from and where to seek help from, because you cannot possibly be an expert in every little thing. And I feel like that's so powerful to also have these networks on each level. So it would be absolutely beautiful to have a network of female leaders from the IT industry, also a strong one, possibly even this larger thing that could be worldwide for female leaders in tech, and just to see how the percentage of female leaders in tech increases, because that's something we would love to see, and that's a beautiful goal to work towards. But thank you for your perspective on this.
Here is also one thing that that should be mentioned. I am in a team, let's say, that says that women can support each other, and I believe that women can support. They are supporting each other, but there is also lots of like negative attitudes that women are more competitive. They are not so eager to help others. So I think that this is something why we need role models to show that this is not true, that women support each other, help them, show how we should proceed in different areas, how to link and find this balance in our life. So how to find the balance between our private life and our business life, how to live stronger when it comes to our values. So I think that being a leader as a female is something really demanding from us all, but this is something also wonderful place that we can fill in with the values and best models that we can have. So this is like a blue ocean at the moment. And I think that whenever we would like to, we can be part of it and create everything we want just to help others grow.
Yeah, that's a beautiful aspiration, and also having mentors is so important, because you can only learn so much from theory, or like you can only practice so much. But when it comes to being really inspired by an example that's right in front of you, and being supported by a person like this and mentored, yes, this is beautiful. But also, of course, looking up to the people and just seeing this representation. When you feel like women are represented in tech leadership, you feel more confident in your own capacity to also become a leader. And now from female leadership in tech to women's entrepreneurship, how do we foster it in the tech industry?
First of all, is to have lots of mentorship programs, I think. So let's try from the inside, what is happening inside agency or companies. Last year, we had completely new report, Strong Leaders Create an IT. And it was a report about how companies are supporting women in developing themselves, in helping in their career. And what was interesting, we asked the companies to show what they are doing when it comes to our education, recruitment, even being a parent, and how they help with growing their different skills. So there are lots of companies, but unfortunately this is in Polish, but I strongly recommend you this report. Lots of companies are doing a lot of mentorship inside the company. So they can they gather women inside and let them learn from each other, like peer-to-peer education. So this is one thing, just to share what they experience, thoughts, insights. So this is one thing, in my opinion. Next thing is to sometimes let them just do the work, Don't limit them. Let them simply give the task and say, show me what you have, show me what you can do with this project. Just trust. Trust is absolutely something truly important when it comes to not only women entrepreneurship, but also in women development, because I believe that women are so well organized. They just need to have faith in themselves, that we trust them and allow them show us what is your creativity, what is your goal, what's your dreams. So not limiting, but just being open. And it is so powerful. I see this every day in my company when I simply tell my team, show me what you would like to have, or what would you say? Just asking questions and being letting them flow, and that's great. And This is so easy at the moment to say that, but but this is really difficult to implement in sometimes. So that's my like the biggest advice: be open, trust, let them simply grow. Because you perfectly know what you want. You perfectly know what your fields when you are good at, and some feel that there is some lack. And there was one more thing: work on your strong sides, not the bad sides. Yeah, so concentrate on the best thing you can have, not on your bad sides. I'm not sure whether I'm precise, and I hope that you know what I mean.
Yeah, sure. I feel like it all comes to empowerment. So, empowering the women, and what we mean by that. We mean giving them the knowledge, giving them the resources, and also giving them the trust to execute. Because learning, and this is also a big part of the mentorship concept, to give people the space and the freedom to show what they're capable of, and to apply all of their knowledge and all of their skills. And I feel like the concept of empowerment it perfectly sums up what you just shared. But I really it resonates with me a lot, what you're saying about being how well organized women are, and how we just oftentimes lack the faith in ourselves. But we have the people who believe in us, and we can seek out that network and build a network of people who believe in us. We have another question. Yeah, we have another question. What can male managers, and it's a male manager asking this question, in particular do to better help foster that feeling of empowerment? Or maybe it's just about not interfering and that's enough. Here's a male perspective, and what do you feel about that? Because the tech industry is still very much male dominated, and that's something that we recognize absolutely, but we also want to increase the share of women in the tech industry. But so far it's male dominated, and luckily we have more and more men who want to give that empowerment to women, and who want to raise that share of women in the tech industry. What would your advice be, Anita?
Now I will talk more like a psychologist than like entrepreneur. Okay.
Please do.
So when you are in a gym, okay, of course, when it is open, what you can see that men in front of the mirror, they say, I look so great. Yeah, I am so well shaped. But when you look at the woman, she will look at at her image in the mirror and say, there is some muffin toe. Oh, I have some, fat here. I am not so well shaped. And this is the biggest problem when it comes to women. So not interfering is of course needed, but I think that first of all we have to say that we appreciate them, that we trust them, that we will show explicitly present. I like that what you're doing, write that. I like that you write this article. I like the way you present this or prepare this report. Just to this empowering, in my opinion, is simply saying that you are doing a great job, because women still have problems with their self-confidence. So appreciating, saying some positive feedback. This is something that women at the beginning they need. Later, when they feel more confident in what they are doing, not interfering. That's the next step. But first, let them grow, but saying that we see their work, that we see that they are efficient, that we see that they are really doing the job in the right way. And sometimes they are surprising us because we may not thought about it. So first of all, appreciate, later, not interfere. That's my key.
I love that. I love how you start with these positive affirmations and reassurance, because this would be true for any type of relationship situation where one person is not 100% confident in what they have to offer. And so when you've reassured them enough, when they've themselves believed in this in the power that they hold, and that the skills that that they can bring to the table. But I love how it starts with these affirmations, and really just highlighting how important and worthy and and just talented the person already is, and that their contribution matters. I really, really love that.
I think that this positive feedback is like a wind in the wings. Yeah. So when we feel comfortable in an organization, when we feel that we are doing the great job, suddenly we are more relaxed. Our brain, our mind is more open, more eager to create, because it feels safe. Because this is the reason. Because when we give this positive feedback, the team, the people, the women says, I feel relaxed because I am doing the great job, because everyone would like to do the great job. So what can I do better? And this is like a chain reaction. Yeah. After thinking good, I am more creative, because I know that I'm doing the great job, and I can sit on a cushion. Suddenly I feel relaxed, comfortable, and let the flow begin.
Yeah, wind in the wings is a beautiful metaphor for this. I can totally relate to how it feels. We have the big debate on the table here, and we have also a common positive feedback in the wind in our sails. Love that. Yes, me too. It's just resonated with me really well. And we move to the big question: soft skills versus hard skills. Which is more important for working in tech? And I'm really interested to hear your perspective on this, Anita, because you're also a soft skills trainer with some very impressive experience. And I'm sure you can bring a lot to the table here, to this discussion. So what is your take on that?
Yes, it's really tricky, because when I simply talk with my friends who are not working in IT business, they also often ask me questions how I can find myself in this industry when I am so more like soft skills than when I represent more soft skills than hard skills. And I say that this depends what type of position you are holding. My job is to understand hardware, software, how does it work? But I don't have to know how to program. I don't have to know exactly how it is done. I have to know how does it work. And this is exactly why so little women are still in tech industry, because they are afraid of tech. And this hard skills that they think they are needed. When you look at our report, Strong Women in IT, from 2 years ago, to this year will be next edition, you can see that when we ask them what is the feature, what is the thing that makes you so successful in IT business, it is empathy, it is intuition, this is soft skills. So not hard skills, and you have to remember they are at managerial positions, they are leaders. So I think that it also depends, of course, but I think that hard skills is something that makes women afraid of working in IT, while I think that this is completely different. You have to have soft skills, because now the way you create software is completely different. There's like a box, you can shape and take whatever you want. What is needed, you have to manage teams, you have to know how to present those softs to others, to make them understand, to make them use it. You have, in my opinion, the future is of soft skills, because hard skills will be maybe not less, but not so strongly demanded in the IT business. I know that this is not one-to-one perfectly sharp like comment to it, but I think that also it is depend what are you doing. When you are in marketing, project management, you don't have to be so strongly and you don't have to have hard skills. But unfortunately, as women, we have to operate with numbers and show a lot of knowledge and experience and understanding of IT. So when you think about different presentation that during conference are done, you can see that women need to share data that like confirm their opinion. Mm-hmm. And this is only something that connected with women. Men sometimes don't just say that this is the truth and that's enough. Women need to prove for it. So this is something that we still need to work on it. But I believe that in future it won't be so tough sometimes.
We have a comment here, and I believe it's a beautiful addition to what you're saying. Do you think that the reason women are afraid of hard skills is related to the fact that sometimes tech rooms tend to gatekeep female experts? So this on expertise and on presenting and on proving your conception, I feel like it echoes beautifully what you just said.
Yes, partially this is true. But there was some research by PwC in UK that sometimes women, it was teenagers, I think it was women teenagers, that they are afraid of math, physics, because for them they seems to be too difficult, and they think that history, geography is simply easier. So I think that this happens when we are teenagers, when we are taught that math is mainly for men. Fortunately, this is changing, but this is really still a lot of work to change the perspective and simply show that being a woman doesn't make you like stupid. Absolutely not. Or less intelligence when it comes to math and all this tech science stuff.
Absolutely, and I agree with you that it depends heavily on the subdivision, the profile that you pick within the tech industry. Because I work in marketing, and as a content marketer, I like hard skills. Well, of course, but then the soft skills, they really shine through as you create content and as you reach out to people. And also an interesting insight from one of our growth webinars that we do completely separately from woMAN Digital, is just what the agency Man Digital does. At one of the growth webinars, we had Kubilai, and he is this sales legend. So he's the sales legend, and he works for this huge company, Insider. And so what he shared about their hiring process is that they look for people with good hearts. So they initially want to hire people who have this good attitude and good hearts, and then they can teach them all of the skills as they move further. Like, I understand this doesn't work for developer positions, and it's not the same for each of the fields, the many fields within the tech industry. But in marketing, in sales, it's really amazing to see, and in PR, I'm sure this is also something that shines through. It's your personality, it's your network that you also build based on how well you are with people and how well you work with in the social context. But I feel like it's great to see companies holding this position and taking this stand of, we hire people with good hearts and then we teach them. It's nice to be reassured of this in the context of an actual company, of a big one and successful one that hires people, and to have this kind of message promoted.
I think for IT business to grow, we also need like a balance, because when you think from the like a seabird view, you can see that there is project development, communication like marketing and sales, and administration and finances. And so 1/3 is a product development. So this is where you need all the hard skills, absolutely. So, but when you think about communication, marketing, sales, administration, finances, there is lots of place and space for soft skills that is truly needed and absolutely crucial. Because when you will create just and think only about hard skills, you simply forget about people that will use it in the future. Because there's a tech, of course, this is a structure, but later you have to think how to present it, how to educate about it, how to sell it, show these advantages of this solution. So this is impossible without knowing and understanding others. And of course, I think about my work, I needed to learn about IoT, 5G, different softwares, different hardwares, and I needed to know it. I don't remember all the digits and numbers that are inside, but I know how to use it, why you have to use it, why this is so important in your company to have it. And this is part of soft skills. This is part of simply understanding the future, because I think that if we will think only about and be so strict that hard skills are crucial, it will limit the spreading of tech in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah. And one of the things we talked about at the previous webinar, at our first event, is, this bias in making tech products. So when there's only one woman in the room, or when there are no women in the room, you lack the perspective, and then products become oriented towards men, and then that's killing the product. That's basically cutting off half of the people who could be using the product, unless it's a super specific product for men, of course. And fortunately, this is happening less and less. We see women in the room where it happens, where tech is being developed, and it's beautiful to see this progression and the female contribution. But also the same with soft skills. Like you cannot build a product on hard skills alone. You still have to go out there. You still have to promote it. You still have to talk to the people in a way that they understand. So this is I really love your take on it. Thanks, Anita, for elaborating on that. And we come to the subject of personal branding in tech, because that's also very much Anita's expertise. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on personal branding, because you're an expert in branding as such, right? But here, as we're targeting women who would like to start a career in tech, or change their career and move into the tech industry. So what are your thoughts on personal branding?
First of all, you have to be visible. You have to tell what you are good at. You have to tell what you think, because when you think about even different social media, you can see lots of people, lots of information. We are jammed with information every day. We are totally overloaded with information, and that's the reason why sometimes we need to show and tell others what we are doing. Because this is no space for waiting in a corner. In Poland, we say, wait in a corner that someone will see you and find you there. No, this is absolutely impossible right now. You have to say, you have to be good at what you are doing. And this is basic, because lying, because when you are not good at something and you promote yourself that you are good at something, this is lying simply. So we are not lying. Being or creating your personal branding, it should be you true. You're truly doing your stuff. So first of all, you have to be visible. So think what you are good at, and talk about it. Educate about it. Publish on your LinkedIn profile different information. Like, for example, you are like live e-commerce. Yesterday, Amazon started in Poland, so you can comment on it. You can say your experience, buy something from Amazon. Today I buy something from Amazon Poland, just to check, the experience, whether it is different or not, compare the communication. So share your experience, share your thoughts. You have to be visible, otherwise people will simply forget about you. This is really sad, I think, that we have to constantly be visible and say, hello, I am here. But unfortunately, there's so many different information that we will don't have time to still be updated with someone else there. So there was like an ad that I read a couple of years ago. You have to be visible to be taken seriously. And this is something because everything is connected with association. When someone thinks about communication, what do you think about? Yeah, who do you have in mind? When you think about e-commerce, who do you think in mind? So creating your personal brand is about creating an association with your specialization, what you're good at, what's your strong things or strong knowledge or great experience. And the same with companies. What are you good at? And create this association that whenever someone needs things, services, products that you are offering, they should think about you. So this is not easy because sometimes companies are not so eager to allow the employees, teams, share their knowledge because they're afraid that someone will hire them. Yeah, they offer better price and they will go there. But this is a risk, and you have to either you create a great atmosphere, a place to grow for them, either they will go otherwise. So I think that this is really crucial nowadays to know what you are good at, to know how to talk about it, because we have wonderful opportunities. You can have podcasts, you can organize webinars like here, you can have your Instagram and Insta stories full of different advices and tactics and life hacks. You can have your own blog, email list, hundreds of possibilities, but you have to choose one or two. You cannot be everywhere because it is time consuming and really tiresome. It is no sense to copy paste each of these posts everywhere because different platforms demand different communication, different materials, different visuals. So this is sometimes difficult to start, to know how should I promote myself, because this is more like promoting yourself. But you have to do this work on your own. You can later share it and compare it with your friends who you trust. But in the end, this is your work. This work has to be done, and start and be consistent with it and regular, because there is no something like I will put something once a month. This is nothing. You have to be regular, and you have to know what you want to achieve, because you have to measure it as well. Whether these posts are working, and how do I recognize that they are working? I can talk about this all day, so you have to stop me.
Yeah, I love it. I also wanted to add, branding. Yes, raising brand awareness for companies is super important. That's why marketing departments exist and PR departments exist, of course. And then you have this personal branding. And some companies, as you said, are hesitant towards letting their people build personal brands, because then they share this inside knowledge and stuff like this. But first of all, this is a toxic atmosphere that people eventually escape. This is not, people want freedom, and they really want to be empowered to talk about their work and be proud of their work. But also something I believe that it comes from LinkedIn or something. This whole companies that you work for, they change unless you have your personal brand that grew into a company, and unless you only have this, basically your baby. So, but your employers will change, but your personal brand, it stays. And so if you build this personal brand, if you build the authority, and then people recognize your name, for when they think about copywriting, for example, and then your name pops up in their heads because you're talking about copywriting so much and sharing so many tips, and you don't have to be a certified expert. You just have to be passionate about something and learning about something all of the times and sharing this information. And it's beautiful to be empowered to do this, but also to give yourself the permission to talk about your expertise proudly, because this is something to be proud of. We have a very interesting question in the comments from Anya. Is personal branding more important for women than for men in tech? What do you think, Anita? I'm very curious about this one.
I think that personal branding has no sex. For me, women as well men, they all need it, but there are different goals. Why do they do it? But I must confess something. Few years ago, I think 3, 4, or 5, I was really shy when it comes to personal branding and presenting what I'm doing, what I am good at, because I was afraid that someone may say that this is conceited, that I am showing off. And I say, no, I shouldn't talk about it. Maybe I shouldn't present it. And the truth is that my clients forced me to show what I am doing and to make them, to help them understand what I'm doing exactly. Because while my company was growing, I started to expand what the scope, what we are doing for our clients. But the truth is that this is something I also had a problem with, to simply allow myself to show what I'm doing, to talk about my work. And sometimes I see that lots of my friends have the same problem, that they're afraid what others will think. Should I show that I'm good at, and that this will be seen as something positive, not showing off or too much advertising of yourself, focus on your work. So sometimes it is not easy, and all of you have to remember about it, that I've been there, but I must say that this is really worth to look in your mirror and say, I'm really good at it. I have something to say. I know what are my strong features, what I should say, what I want to achieve, and start to do it. Because this like self-doubt are really limiting us. And this is connected with men and women. But we shouldn't forget about it, especially nowadays when there are so many different situations and opportunities in the world. So don't be afraid, just write it down. I like to work with sheet of paper and a pencil and write down my goals, my dreams, and how I can simply present them via different channels like LinkedIn or Instagram.
By the way, it's interesting how maybe the reason people feel hesitant to build their personal brand is not necessarily because they're limited by something, by some external, let's say, circumstances, or even these like limitations that you have within yourself, as much as we live in a world oversaturated with influencers, right? We have influencers here and there, and it's all over the place, and everyone wants to become an influencer on some level, but then most of us just hate the thought of entering this highly competitive field, or proclaiming yourself this influencer in terms of opinion leader, when you're only getting started, and when you don't have the audience, you don't have the reach. And for you, I love how it was like it came from your clients, the people who you've helped, and they empowered you to share this and start building your personal brand. But do you think, Anita, that there might be some, like, what else could you do to break free of this barrier that you have within yourself? If you don't have the kind of encouragement that comes from the people who you've helped, if you're only getting started, how to break free of these inner doubts and these all of the the circumstances, and just allow yourself to do this? Do you have any tips?
Yes. First of all, start with small steps. So you don't have to be everywhere. As I mentioned, just pick one of social media platform. Pick one, just one, and maybe let's take LinkedIn, and publish them twice a week, just twice. And this shouldn't be like a whole big posts for a couple of thousand signs. This can be like comment of what is going on in the market, like this starting of Amazon in Poland, or competitive between different platforms, or new feature of Instagram, whatever you like. Just simply start and comment and look what is happening. because sometimes the social selling, because I think the personal branding and social media create something like social selling. So like the possibility to sell your product services via your personal brand. And I think this is something what I am actually doing. So start with small steps and see and watch the reaction. Will people join your conversation? Will people comment on what you post? Will people react badly, simply? Because I think that the more we do in our personal brand, the more confident we feel. And this is something like a neutral for us. And in the end, you will like it. Honestly, I like it, and I think that this is something that allows me to express myself. And I sometimes I still have something like a journalist in my soul, inside my mind, so I can express and I can say, look, guys, this is something that you have to read, or this is something that truly concerns me. So this is a platform that this is like a tool you can use. But at the moment, at the beginning, you can be less skillful in it. But in the future, just small steps, and watch and try to feel relaxed, because you are not the only one here. This is the easiest thing, because you can also think, if I won't start now, okay, I may lose my job, and who will find me? And that's the worst. To start building your personal brand in pressure. So under pressure. So that's the point. Start now. Start just to show your knowledge, just to show your perspective, and it will be perfect.
We have a person who clearly has doubts about their, abilities and what they can really bring to the table. Do you think anybody can even create a brand out of their personalities? What if there's not much of a personality to put out there? Well, it's the place for skills, and it's the place for the knowledge that you accumulate. And I feel like, I'm sorry, Anita, to interrupt like this and to start answering the question myself. But one remark I wanted to make is it's a very real strategy to start replying in the comments. Let's say it's LinkedIn, right? You're building your personal brand. And so you start replying in the comments to the opinion leaders, to the influencers, to the people who write about stuff in your field. And when you don't have a personal brand yet, it's also one of the things, like your example with Amazon, like voicing your opinion, bringing something to this conversation. Like your insights will be your insights always. So it's always unique. It's always valuable as this unique insight that you have. And it's a very real strategy to grow your audience, to grow your authority, to build that brand awareness, is to join the bigger conversation, even if you're not big yet, instead of starting your own completely from scratch. Now, I'm sorry, I give the floor to you, Anita.
But I couldn't agree more. Yes, I think that everyone has their own personality and their own attitude, towards something. So starting comments, maybe this is also a good strategy, to just not putting your posts straight away. But you can make a test. You can watch whatever, you can find some people on the LinkedIn and check what they are published. Because I think that on one hand, we are interested of others people's bio, of the history of employment and what they are doing. But in the real time, we really are interested what those people are publishing. Sometimes I see that when there are some really great businessmen, there is no posts. There's just they like a CV. So they use LinkedIn as just portfolio. That's all. And there is lack of something. There's lack of like a body without a soul.